I'm joined by Bob Hollis, founder of the Plymouth Recovery Center. Thanks so much for coming by.
Well, thank you for having me here.
Well, you started the Recovery Center, I think it opened in the summer of 2017?
That would be right.
Okay, yes. Good. Got something right. Okay.
Yes.
And the story behind this is a difficult and a personal story. And and I know you sent over some pictures that and a beautiful video that we're gonna start our discussion with. This is your son Rob,
right,
who passed away due to an overdose.
Yes. And
that situation sparked in you the desire to help you and your family.
Yes, in fact, you know, we knew the problems that we face and anyone faces with addiction. This gave us a great awareness, but it really made us delve into what can we do, what resources can we make available to people that are going through it, that same, you know, like we did.
And I know you, because we're in the same Rotary group, and so I know that you were very driven to make something happen yesterday, if possible.
Exactly.
You know, you were a man with a mission.
We could have waited for state funding like most places were, but we said, this community is ready, the need is there, we're not going to wait. We just went out and did it, and the community responded.
Yeah.
And I think the video says a great deal about the kind of work we're doing there.
So tell us who's in this picture before we show the video.
That's my family, actually. Erica on the left, Jillian beside her, myself, and my wife, Donna. And wanted to make everyone know that it was a group effort. It was a family effort to make sure that this word got out, that first of all, that there's a stigma that we wanted to do away with. We weren't going to hide. We weren't going to sweep it under the rug. This is what happened. And that's the only way that people can respond so we can get help to people. Transparency is so important. Exactly. Yeah. So everyone's been behind that, and they're still behind all the efforts at the Recovery Center.
Awesome. Well, let's show the video.
Excellent. I think that'll say a lot. Once someone's addicted, they're not your son and daughter anymore. The drug is taken over, and until you bring that back, you can't believe a word they say, because they're not in control. My name's Bob Hollis. I've been a resident and business owner in Plymouth, Massachusetts since the early 80s. Recovery Center came about, unfortunately, due to the death of my son just about a year and a half ago. He had been dealing with addiction for 7 or 8 years. He had just gotten engaged. They were talking about having kids. He was 2.5 years into recovery, and he overdosed and died. It was fentanyl. He wasn't the stereotype of what most people think about of those that are addicted. People have always said, well, these people are weak mentally, or they're morally, something's wrong, that they're off base, they're just different. But no, it's male, female, every economic factor, demographic, you name it, it really has no boundaries. In 2016, we lost 20 people in Plymouth alone. We lost 2,069 in Massachusetts, and that doesn't even count all the people that are going through addiction and all the people that are impacted by that. So we said we need a place that not only gives the help on the long-term recovery, but is the resource center that when people are in that kind of a crisis, they can come in and get some help and get immediate help. In February of 2017, I formed a nonprofit. We thought that the state would have some money to help us out get going. It wasn't happening, and I said we couldn't wait. Most people were saying, let's wait and write a grant and have it done. I said, we're not going to wait. The time is now. We don't want to lose one more person. We opened July 1st. We raised $125,000. It's working. The people who work here are in recovery, so Dan has already lived it, and he can tell you, and he can work with people because they can't fool them.
If I'm not working on myself every day, like just really trying to get after my recovery, I'll fall into those old behaviors, and my life will become unmanageable without even using drugs. Getting up in the morning, getting dressed, coming to work,
helping other people
yeah, achieve recovery and things like that gives me a sense of purpose. I know what I'm here for now. You know, I know why I'm here.
Fighting addiction can't be done with just one method. It has to be a number of things that get involved between the clinical, the physical part of that, and the medication if it's needed, the spiritual parts. That all comes together here at the recovery centers. These type of centers work. We're losing a generation. If we don't do anything about it, we're going to lose that generation.
Well, that's quite a powerful video. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Well, the key is we have to let the community know that they have this resource here, that if there's anyone that has a family member going through it, or if someone's going through it themselves, you're not alone. The people that work here, use the analogy, oftentimes people are down in this big hole, deep hole in addiction, but these people have been in it themselves and they know how to get out.
That's so fabulous.
And so people have to know that they can come here, they have resources to help them get into treatment, and then the key is once they get out of treatment, here they have a community of recovery that we're building, where people help each other, have peer-to-peer counseling, but eventually some of the people in long-term recovery are helping the people just coming in. And it is a whole community.
So the Recovery Center, correct me if I'm wrong, is for anyone in this community who is touched by addiction.
Yes, and it doesn't have to be just opioids, it's alcohol and so forth. And we have groups that meet there that are family members, Learn to Cope. It's a great program, meets Monday evenings. We have groups that have lost family members. We have people, programs, of course, for those that are going through addiction themselves and trying to recover. And we actually have parents of substance abuse kids too. So
whether or not my loved one is actually in recovery, the Recovery Center is there also?
Exactly.
Okay, so no matter if addiction is touching me in any way,
right?
Whether I'm the person who's suffering from addiction or someone that cares about someone suffering,
exactly.
At any point, the Recovery Center is there to help.
Exactly. They'll equip you. You'll go through it with people that have gone through it themselves and can help you in that way.
Yeah. Boy, it's amazing to think that wasn't there before. And I can imagine, there's not only the stigma, but there's where do I go for help?
Oftentimes people tell us that, they get very frustrated because if they start making a few phone calls and they're going through, a very difficult time with addiction, they get very frustrated. Whereas here, we already have lists of places they can go. The people that work here, the counselors, know, and they can get them in because they have the connections.
So they can actually help the person get into a treatment program.
Absolutely.
It's not, you're not handed a list.
Right. No, they're going to sit down with you.
It's not like the yellow pages.
You're going to sit down and they're going to make the calls for you. They'll even arrange the transportation to have them come down to get them. But the key piece is, once you're out of that treatment place, you need long-term recovery. It takes 5 years on average for the brain to come back to some kind of normal brain chemistry.
I think we have one picture about that shows your son's coworkers.
Yes, yeah.
Can we show that?
There they are.
Great.
I mean, he had just worked with them that Saturday, and he had unfortunately died that night, the next Sunday, and they were at work Monday, and this is their tribute to him. He was the guy that got them going to the gym, got them, he was the guy that ate right and so forth. So that's what I'm saying. It could be anyone. And just so happens he was sober for 2.5 years. He was in recovery, went back just one time, and with fentanyl, that's all it takes. It was one time.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for coming here today.
I'm glad I could be here.
All right. Thanks, Bob Hollis of the Plymouth Recovery Center, for appearing on The Plymouth Show. Find information on what guests and episodes are airing when at our website, theplymouthshow.com.